Welcome to this explainer. Right now, literally as we're speaking, there is a clock ticking down. And with every single second that passes, a totally non-refundable piece of your life just slips away. I mean, think about this for a second. The average person today spends roughly 7 hours a day just staring at screens. If you add that up over a lifetime, that equates to nearly 20 years of waking life spent just consuming content. 20 years. Today, we aren't here to give you some standard, feel-good motivational talk. We are here to uncover the actual systems that are actively holding you back, keeping you in this state of endless consumption. And, more importantly, we're going to reveal exactly how the 2026 AI revolution allows you to break out of that trap and build a literal software empire without writing a single line of code. 2,000 years ago, the Roman Stoic philosopher Seneca dropped this profoundly simple truth. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Time is the universe's absolute only non-refundable currency. You just can't ever buy it back. But right now, you're likely letting it slip right through your fingers by endlessly consuming. And remember, Seneca said this way before the internet or smartphones even existed. Could you imagine what he would say today? Just picture Seneca watching a modern citizen doom-scrolling through 15-second videos for 3 hours straight. He would probably be absolutely horrified at how willingly we surrender our absolute most precious resource. All right, let's jump into Section 1, the illusion of time and modern slavery. We're going to see how the physical chains of the past have basically been quietly replaced by a psychological trap that you literally carry in your pocket every single day. It's wild, but notice how the ancient Eastern concept of Maya so perfectly describes modern tech. In ancient texts, Maya is this incredibly powerful illusion that distracts humans from their true potential, keeping them completely trapped in a false reality. Well, today is Maya. It's smartphone addiction. It's those precisely engineered dopamine loops, the bright red notification badges, that infinite scroll that literally never lets you reach the bottom of the page. It completely tricks you into thinking you are being entertained and connected. But in reality, you're actually just training algorithms for massive big tech companies. They have quite literally hijacked your consciousness just to serve their bottom line. Which brings us to a really harsh, totally unforgiving rule of economics. There are fundamentally only two distinct roles in the digital economy: the consumer and the producer. And as long as you are trapped as a consumer, you're going to remain financially stuck. Every single time you pause on a post for 3 seconds, every time you swipe, every time you click a like button, you are generating incredibly valuable data. You are training an algorithm so a massive company can sell highly targeted advertising. You get a microscopic dopamine hit, and they generate billions of dollars. True freedom, real wealth, and actual power, that belongs exclusively to the producers, the people who actually step out of the illusion and build the exact systems everyone else is addicted to. Moving into Section 2, the fear of coding and learned helplessness. So why haven't you become a producer? Why do those brilliant startup ideas of yours just never see the light of day? Let's talk about the massive wall that's historically stopped you dead in your tracks. Back in the 1960s, a psychologist named Martin Seligman discovered this concept called learned helplessness. It's this psychological state where, after being told repeatedly that a task is just way too difficult to overcome, a person just gives up trying entirely. And for decades, the tech elite completely gate-kept knowledge. They made programming languages so esoteric, so mathematically complex, and honestly so prone to completely breaking over a single missing comma that they essentially induced this exact psychological state in the general public. You were conditioned to believe that building $1 million app required an MIT degree, a genius-level understanding of Python, and millions in venture capital. But as the great ancient strategist Chanakya warned, fear really is your greatest enemy. This manufactured fear of coding, this totally artificial barrier, is the exact reason your brilliant startup ideas have always just died in the dark corners of your mind. You thought about the front-end logic, the back-end server routing, the relational database management, and you just froze. That fear of not knowing how to physically type syntax to the machine paralyzed you way before you ever even drafted a business plan. All right, Section 3, the 2026 paradigm shift. AI democratization. I need you to wake up to this new reality right now, because the absolute greatest paradigm shift in human history has just hit, and it has absolutely shattered those old walls to dust. Just look at this contrast. In the old way, you literally needed months just to memorize syntax, navigate that elite gatekeeping, and spend thousands of dollars to hire a whole engineering team. But the new way?
It completely belongs to prompt engineering and AI frameworks. You don't need to spend years learning machine language anymore, because finally, machines have actually learned human language. Prompt engineering is simply the ability to speak clearly and logically to a highly intelligent, incredibly fast digital intern. This is the ultimate democratization of power, guys. The ability to build massive digital wealth has moved from a few select server rooms in Silicon Valley straight to your bedroom laptop. Section 4. The process of creation. Let's map out exactly how you make this transition and wield this AI revolution as a weapon to actually build your ideas. To do this effectively, we really need to apply a core Stoic philosophy from Epictetus. Focus only on what is in your control and let go of what is not. In this entirely new era, you get to finally experience the incredible relief of just letting go of the syntax. You have to stop worrying about server configurations, missing semicolons, or deployment errors. Seriously, let the AI handle the heavy lifting of the code. Your focus must be entirely on what you uniquely control: the crystal clarity of your ideas, your logic, your business model, and your architectural blueprint. So here is your exact practical roadmap to creation. Step 1. The blueprint. You have got to strip away all the digital distractions. Grab a literal pen and a physical piece of paper. Literally draw out your app's user interface. Draw a rectangle and write login inside it. Draw an arrow pointing to a circle that says user dashboard. Know exactly where the buttons go and what they do before you ever even touch a keyboard. Then, step 2, the invocation. Because you are the architect now, you have to give incredibly precise instructions to your tireless AI laborers, whether you're using ChatGPT-4, Claude 3.5 Sonnet, or, honestly, whatever model comes next. And there's a massive difference here between a lazy user and a true creator. A consumer typing into a chatbot just says, "Hey, make me a to-do list app," and the AI gives a generic, totally useless response. But a true creator, they use a master prompt. You assign the AI a highly specific persona. You tell it, act as an expert full-stack developer. You specify the exact tech stack you want it to use, like React.js for the interface, Tailwind CSS for the styling, and Firebase for the backend database. You explicitly demand a modular, scalable code structure. When you provide that exact level of logical detail, the AI generates the precise architecture a senior developer would write, literally in a matter of seconds. 48 hours. That is the sheer unbelievable speed of this new reality. Consider the fact that just a few years ago, building a basic minimum viable product would cost a founder roughly 50 grand to hand over to a development agency, and it would easily take 3 to 6 months of back and forth emails just to complete. Today, using these AI frameworks, that exact same MVP can be conceptualized, coded, and completely launched from your bedroom over a single weekend. The friction of creation has almost completely vanished. Section 5. The reality check, stoicism, and hard work. Okay, we really need to kill the get-rich-quick fantasies right here. The tools have completely changed, yes, but the real world absolutely still demands sweat. Building an empire is never, ever without friction. There's this profound lesson from the Bhagavad Gita that firmly anchors us to reality. You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Look, AI is merely a tool. Think of it as this razor-sharp, legendary sword. But a sword still requires a highly disciplined, focused warrior to repeatedly swing it. In this context, swinging the sword means iterating through dozens of prompts, constantly refining your logic, and fully embracing the brutal, somewhat tedious work of actually building. You have to put in the hours without crying over the fact that you aren't a multimillionaire on day 2. This is the true Stoic reality of building today. Yes, the AI writes the super complex code, but you still have to act as the director. If you fundamentally don't understand the basic logic of how a front-end interface talks to a back-end database through an API, your app is going to crash on day 1. You are going to face giant red error screens. And let's just be totally honest, even with a literal genius AI partner, when your front-end refuses to fetch data from your back-end for the 4th time in a row, you are going to want to physically throw your laptop out of a closed window. That is entirely normal. It will absolutely test your patience. And when that first big red error screen pops up, 99% of people will just quit. They'll close their code editor and go right back to scrolling through social media, returning straight to the Maya. But you have to adopt this exact Stoic mindset from Marcus Aurelius. The obstacle is the way. Treat the bug as a puzzle. Do not panic. Just simply copy the error text, paste it right back to the AI, and frankly, ask it how to solve it. This is the secret. That friction is where you actually learn the logic of the system. The friction is what ultimately turns you into a creator.
Section 6, the final strike. Become a creator. All right, it is time to dismantle every single excuse that's keeping you locked in that endless cycle of digital consumption. I am directly challenging you right now. Seriously, what is your excuse? You have no money to start a business? The absolute most powerful AI language models in the world are currently available totally for free. You have no coding skills? The AI literally writes the complex syntax and debugs it for you in seconds. You have no time? Come on. What used to take a team of senior engineers 6 months now takes a focused individual 48 hours. Every single excuse from the old world of gatekeeping is entirely officially dead. Marcus Aurelius said it so beautifully. You shouldn't fear death. You should be terrified of reaching the end of your life having never truly lived. You should be deeply, deeply terrified of reaching your final days having only been a tiny cog in someone else's machine. Be terrified of spending your precious youth just consuming algorithmically generated content while your brilliant, literal, world-changing ideas just rot inside your head simply because you were too afraid to actually start. So the ultimate question is really this. Are you going to close this explainer and go right back to sleep, seamlessly slipping back into the role of the passive consumer, or are you going to rebel? Are you going to embrace your role as a true problem solver, leverage these incredible, newly democratized AI tools, and start building your very own systems right this second? The barrier to entry has completely vanished. The tools are firmly in your hands. What are you going to build today?